Well,
Wired up okay.
that's self-defense.
Okay, chest testing, 1, 2, 3.
just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Hey, say hi to the live streamers. We welcome everybody this morning. At the right time, I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Okay, if you didn't know it before, you know it now. Your soul is welcome here. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Reverend James, and welcome to you to the rain. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. And in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. If you're with us for the very first time this morning, whether you're watching us online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you, because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're always so excited and happy to get together. And we're even more excited when you silence your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Well, now that we created that opening to connect with this presence, let's commune with this spiritual essence that is beyond words, but so very real. Lord, is the foundation of everything that exists in our world and in our life. And we come directly from this presence, and we contain all the qualities that this presence has. First and foremost, life itself, and love, and wisdom, and wholeness, and health, and vitality, and vigor, imagination, and zeal. All of those qualities are rolled up in one essence, and we indeed are a representation of that in our life. So today we remember that truth. We speak from that truth. We act from that truth. And as we do, we can say without a doubt that when you see us, you see the presence that sent us. For this presence and I and all of us are one. And as being one in the Spirit, we know that whenever anyone is lifted up, we all are lifted up in some way, shape, or form. So we do our part to keep our eyes single on the spiritual presence, on the qualities of God, and as we do, we anchor a little bit more of heaven on earth. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth, magnifying and spreading the all good. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center that's reflected in our mission statement. I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world, as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission by fulfilling and living out these 5 universal principles and embodying them in our thoughts and our words and our actions. Again, let's affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action.
And of course, on Wednesday nights, we have a birthday first.
Yes, we don't want to forget any birthdays in the month of September.
Birthdays.
Any September birthdays here this month? We want to acknowledge you.
Hey,
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya.
That's so much fun.
It is great to be alive.
And also on the first Sunday of the month, Shirley Brown provides the flowers for the altar, and I started thinking of them as the birthday flowers. Thank you, Shirley, so much for the beautiful. And now, as I started to say, we have a lot of action on Wednesday nights. This week, we are going to have a talking stick circle, and it's called Personal Stories of Abundance. Now, we've just had 4 weeks of an abundance mini class, and people were talking about some of their experiences. I thought it would be really interesting and fun for us to sit in a circle and just tell some story that happened for us that showed us the abundance of the world, of the universe, and of our lives. And it's a talking stick is where you get the stick and you get to talk. I will time you. But no one comments, no one interrupts. You just get to tell your story, and then we just go to the next one, and then we sit with it. And it's an amazing energy. So I invite you to join us with that. The community meal is at 6, and the program is at 7. And then the next week, on the 13th, the chaplains will be offering their World Day of Prayer service, and so they've got it put together. It's going to be a very special service, and so we invite you to that. And of course, there will also be a community meal then. So that's the next 2 Wednesdays, so mark your calendar.
And the gala is coming. The gala is coming. Be ready. Our Light the World Gala, we're going to celebrate our 25th anniversary, is coming up on September the 29th. Today is the last day. If you want to be a sponsor, we invite you to be a sponsor for our gala program. And I believe that you can do that anytime today, anywhere, find anyone, we'll figure it out. The ticket sales are open, I think, after 2 p.m. today. You'll be able to get them online. And just join us for some magnificent food and fun and fellowship. It's going to be a great evening. And also, as you know, one of the things that we do at Spiritual Life Center is partner with other like-minded, mission-compatible organizations that are making a positive difference in our community. So each month we have a community partner that we support in their work, and we're going to have Denise Holmes to share who our community partner for this month is. So welcome, Denise.
Okay,
I'll let you go right up here.
James. Good morning, everybody, and you can feel the change in the weather. We're into the ER months, and so that's a special time. And I can't believe how fast the months change. So here we are again. And this morning, it's so special for our church to give to nonprofits. And we search, and we want you to search too and give us any nominations you have. But this morning we have a friend from the past, and she's always our friend here. Her name's Duria Syed. And let me just give a little bit of background. The nonprofit that she is in charge of is called Ar-Razak. And what I love about them is they put together community care packages for the people who are at the lowest physical needs. That's our basic need for humans. for food. And so they put together a lot of hundreds of care packages for anywhere from the mustard seed for children to the youth group, and then the homeless, and a lot of different organizations. They put together care packages for loaves and fishes as well. So welcome to our friend Duria Sayed. Come on up.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to us because we are at Razak Food Bank, and our story is different than other story that our founder, there are 4 of us who founded the Razak Food Bank, but actually it was one person who saw the dream, and literal dream, and in the dream she saw 3 of us. So she wakes up and she calls us and said, "It's in my dream, and now you have to honor that." And that's how it happened. So that's how we joined. We started from our garage, and then we had a warehouse on Patano. There was a real estate office. They gave us the office for 4 or 5 years, and now we have a warehouse, over Warehouse Drive, So thank you so much for honoring, because COVID has been a hard one. We haven't done a major fundraiser for a few years because of COVID, and also few health, things we were going through. Yes, we do provide 200 plus packages to the non-perishable items to families, and to mustard seed, to wind youth, to homeless, and we also honor one, nonprofit that's doing work in the community. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you, Duria. And on behalf of Spiritual Life Center, just like over this check of our token of support for what you're doing in our community and all the work you're doing in so many other areas, because I know you're a very busy person. Thank you so much for your presence today. Yes.
And of course, every week we remind you that there are many ways to foster transformation here at Spiritual Life Center. So check out our weekly small groups and the other offerings. You can peruse the bulletin board out in the courtyard. Go talk to the ladies at the hub, and of course, anything you could possibly ever want to know about SLC is on our website.
Well, one of the things we like to do at Spiritual Life Center is make connections with one another. That's one of the reasons that we exist as a spiritual community, and oftentimes those things take place in our classes, our workshops, our events, and things like the gala, but you don't have to wait till that takes place. You can connect with someone right here and right now. So I invite you to turn to a friend or a neighbor or a stranger and say this morning, in a manner that feels comfortable for you, "You are marvelous and glad you are here."
Y'all know what that means? Sit down. Now I want you to join me now. But listen. I learned this as a solo song, so I'm gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Now look. Y'all follow these monitors right here and keep the beat and do the background. Cause I'm a mess. I'm gonna be all over the place. That's how I learned the song. Y'all watch these. Don't look at me. Watch over here and follow the song to the letter. And we gonna be all right in the end. Yeah. Y'all ready? Everything that I need to know about what lies before me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Now it's available to me through the mind of God within me. Good. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me. Everything that I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to do about what lies before me. Everything that I need to do about what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to release about what lies before me. Everything that I need to release about what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything that I need to accept about what life. Here, Papa. Everything that I need to accept about what life. That's Papa. It's available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Through the mind of God within me. Through the mind of God. Y'all holding your notes? Within me.
Times do you go through the... Thank you. As we move into the contemplative part of our service, let's embody the word of our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
Be still and
be still. No. And take a deep breath and slowly exhale. Take another breath and let it all go. Drop your shoulders. And in the next cycle of breaths, allow yourself to relax. Relax your eyelids, your hands. Relax the soles of your feet. And as you now simply breathe naturally, allow your consciousness to float up and away into a light daydream. In this daydream, you are looking at the palm of your hand. You see your fingers, maybe the tips of fingernails, maybe some little scars or other marks. Then looking closer, you see the lines in your palms. And the longer you gaze at your hand, the more detail you begin to see. Like a zoom lens in a movie scene, you come in closer and closer until the cells in your hand are magnified and you find yourself surrounded by millions and millions of cells that make up that one part of your hand. The cells are full of life and light, and you can feel their energy. You hear their humming as they live their lives. Pick a cell now and zoom right through the molecules into the atoms that make up the cell. They are active, vibrant, intelligent, conscious, and there is a deep sense of peace. The energy at this level is beyond description. It is so pure that it feels as if you have fallen directly into the divine, into its inner stillness. And as you float and drift in this incredible energy, something interesting happens. The scene changes, and it's like you have turned around and are looking at the whole of creation from the inside. Everywhere around you, atoms and subatomic particles vibrate and shine and hum. They are life itself. They are consciousness. And now you turn around again and begin to slowly zoom out. And you start to see the patterns made by these atoms, the patterns of the world in which you live. Your vision clears, and now you see people, animals, plants, buildings, even the very air, as magnificent groupings of conscious atoms, all twinkling in the same light and love. You are at once observer and participant in the divine soup of life. And you experience yourself as you really are, a soul composed of the divine energy we call atoms. You are conscious. You twinkle. In this cosmic dance with the all, you are still. You are at peace. And in this peaceful state, you ignite your inner power as you float in the silence. Your inner power is awakened. It vibrates in and through your being. You know that you are an integral piece of a much greater whole that relies on your power to do its part. You are still, you know. With gratitude for this quantum experience, take a breath and slowly zoom all the way out. With each breath, your physical world begins to coalesce, to put its skin back on. And as it resolves into your physical environment and you return to awareness, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, there is no space that God does not grace. Every particle that creates your universe is imbued with the original divine idea, and your soul is an integral part of that divine idea. There is so much more within you than you realize. When you stand in your divine power, you are infilled with divine love. And as divine love, you become your greatest self. Remember this, always.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, I feel love, I feel love. In the stillness of this moment, I feel love, I feel love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, I feel love. In the stillness of this moment, I am free, I am free. In the stillness of this moment, I am free, I am free. And I rest and trust and breathe and know
Thank you, Carol, our one and only Carol Manson, and our Soul Night Connection, and all the guys. Thank you so much. I guess you could have rested in that. I could have just rested in that energy for a while, but they have me on the program to give a talk. When I lived in Missouri and my son was in the 7th grade, he had a passion for films and filmmaking. I thought he might actually go into that field. And he had a project that he needed to do for his class. And he created a film documentary for his English class. And I remember it because I was kind of doing the research with him, called the Lumiere Brothers. And they were French manufacturers of photography and the equipment for photography, and they did a lot of short films, and they were among the earliest filmmakers. But what I observed was Jalen, who at that time was into video games and doing a lot of other things at that time, he was in the basement. He was totally immersed in his project. And he wasn't concerned about, playing the games, or he wasn't even concerned about eating or watching TV. And over time, he wrote the script. He created the story. I guess he created a little storyboard for the documentary. He gathered up the pictures for the footage, and he did the voiceover. He was completely absorbed in the project every day that he was working on it, totally oblivious to time. And he entered this project into a National History Day competition in the state capitol. He went there, and there was a lot of other projects that people had presented. But as I look back at that experience and watching him, I believe in that moment, or those moments, he was working or engaging with the flow of spirit. Spirit, of course, is the foundation of everything. It kind of reminds me of the Bible verse in the Psalm 171, and it said, unless the Lord, which is the great law of life, builds the house, they that labor, labor in vain. There's a song by the same name. And so, today, my talk is inspired by the fact that, we're in Labor Day weekend, and sometimes when these things come up, we're trying to say, okay, what can I come up with on Labor Day weekend to talk about something? And sometimes I resist these things, but I decided to flow with it. Plus that song was playing in my head over and over again throughout the week. He that labors, labors in vain. I can't sing like Carol, but that's okay. But many people see Labor Day as a time to rest from work. I know it has a lot to do with the labor unions, but a lot of people say it's a time for me to rest from my work. I work, then I rest. Rest from my work. But that's the common belief, that we do our work and we labor and labor and labor, then we take some breaks. But the enlightened have a different take on this. The enlightened will say we work from our rest. Because when we do, we work from the flow of spirit, and we begin to bear rich fruit by first connecting to a presence. And I think it's illustrated in the Bible story in the Gospel of John, which I believe is the most mystical of the 4 Gospels. And, I decided I'm going to do a Bible class in a couple months, so if those are interested in understanding the metaphysical, the mystical, and the allegorical interpretations of the Bible, you might want to come check that out. Anyway, that's an advertising for the class. But anyway, this particular course, this particular story takes place right after the resurrection experience. And the disciples, they were out fishing, and they were with Simon Peter, they were with Thomas and a few others, and they were fishing all night long. And they said they didn't catch any fish. Back in my neighborhood, they would catch fish, catch nary a fish. And they were just fishing and fishing and fishing, and they were laboring in vain. And they got bored, they got tired, and they were beginning to bring the boat into the shore, and all of a sudden they saw the master teacher, Jesus. And Jesus, of course, symbolizes the spirit within each and every one of us. And it says in that story, and I'm paraphrasing, they recognized his spiritual presence. That spiritual presence sent them a message. They heard the message. And the message was, go back to your boat and throw your net on the right side of the boat. and pull it in. So they recognized the Spirit. They heard the spiritual's guidance. They did what Spirit guided them to do. And they said at the end of that story, they pulled in many, many fish that weren't there before. So I think this is one of the secrets of working from the flow of Spirit. I think, first of all, like they did, we have to recognize the spiritual presence. That I said is the foundation of everything. That's connect and get connected with that presence. And then we go back and do whatever we think we're doing, and we'll begin to reap the all good. Sometimes in life, we hear, we're here to labor, we think. We're here to labor every day. We think that we're in a relationship to try to get love from someone. We think that we're here to work on a project that's right in front of us, and sometimes we wonder why we're not bearing rich fruit. Because all the time and effort we're placing on it is not connected to the spiritual presence. So we think we're working. We think we're trying to make something happen. We think we're trying to maybe grow our money. We think we're trying to heal our body. We think we're trying to heal our relationships. But we must first connect with that spiritual presence. Then we go back to our project. Then we go back to our work. Whatever we think we're working on. So that presence can activate what I call the law of least effort. In the Gospel of Matthew, there's a statement that says, consider the lilies of the field. Yet God takes care of them with, I call, an effortless effort. This same effortless effort can be how all of our life can operate as well. Where God is doing seemingly everything, and it seems like we're not doing much at all. Now, it doesn't happen often, because most of the time we think our own might and power is the one that has to be in control. But, I remember I used to go to a Silent Unity at Unity Village, and they used to have the prayer service, and at the beginning of the prayer service, they would start out with this phrase that would have us repeat. It is not I, but the Christ within that does the work. It is not I, but the Spirit within that does the work. It is not I, but that God presence within that does the work. And I remember one time I had an opportunity to have a dinner with Maya Angelou, and we were talking about these moments where seemingly things happen without our effort. That we were talking about how it doesn't happen often because it's so hard of us to get ourselves out of the way. I had an insight once when I was working on a very challenging project years ago. And it seemed to be way beyond what I could possibly figure out to do. And I realized at some point, I was telling myself, I can't. This is God's idea. Let God do it. And once I got out of my own way and let go of my own understanding, I began to feel and sense this energy that was seemingly taking over me. An energy that was greater than myself, and it was around me, and I began to yield to it. I began to let this presence kind of have its way with me, guide me, and this was unusual. And the thought came through me that I should be doing a whole lot more than what I was doing, because I was doing less and less, and God was doing more and more, and seemingly without much effort on my part. So things were getting done. People were showing up. Till it got to the point that God was doing everything and I was seemingly doing nothing. And I was feeling a little guilty about that because I wasn't doing anything. Many people believe they have to work so hard by the sweat of their brow and personal willpower. They have to do all manner of things to survive in the world. But we understand that on a physical realm, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if we try really hard for something on the physical life, so oftentimes we get the opposite. In the mental realm, if we really chase after something, we really feel that we do not have it, and we run after it, and we get the opposite. It runs from us. Or something that we do not like, if we try to get rid of it, it persists. What we resist persists. So often on the physical and mental level, we get the equal and opposite reaction. So sometimes the harder we work, the harder it is. And this leads sometimes to burnout. I always say the distinction between, burnout and just, and other ways of living from flow. Because, we can work really hard, and when we rest, when we come back, then we're in the flow. But sometimes when we work really hard and we get, time to rest, and we come back, we're just as tired as before we started, then that's a good indication that we're not in the flow of spirit. But in the spiritual realm, there's only one activity, and that is the all-omni activity of God. There is no opposite reaction because there's only the action of this presence. Therefore, when we choose God and work from the flow of spirit, we realize we don't have to make it happen. Yes, we have to take effort. There's effort involved, but it's not debilitating strain, but an uplifting energy. The God consciousness, the spiritual power begins to do the work that is appointed for us to do. So when we stop and we choose the presence of God and we work from our rest, we have an enlightened moment. To stop and work from our rest sometimes sounds very counterintuitive. But Lao Tzu, who was the Chinese philosopher and the writer of Tao Te Ching, said, "He who can perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible." There's a level of inactivity where we pull back from human doing and we contemplate a spiritual idea till it moves through us. And he says, he who practices that, everything is possible because the divine spiritual ideas are everywhere waiting for a consciousness that is high enough, courageous enough to accept it and be motivated and be used by these ideas. I was reading something about, I think, Beethoven. When he was deaf, he composed his greatest symphony, the Ninth Symphony. And according to what I was reading, it was that he had heard that over 1 hour long project that had a full orchestra, chorus, soloist, seemingly in his head in a very short period of time. And then he spent 6 years to write it down. And that's where his effort came in. But it was an effortless effort because it was already complete. He was working, I believe, from that spiritual realm. And when we work from the flow of spirit by first resting in spirit and feeling that whatever we are working on is already done, then we find the pieces coming together seemingly effortlessly. I think in our own lives, when we're working from spirit, we'll walk to places unconcerned about a project work we might be working on. And there will be people necessary for us to complete it, kind of showing up. We'll go to places, we'll hang out, and there will come our answer. When we work from the flow of spirit, we'll find the entire universe will conspire to bring what we need in order to perfect the unfoldment, and it'll take place in a graceful way. But we need to stay in tune with that presence. We need to connect with that presence. Sometimes when we do that, people may say, when we have something miraculously seemingly happen, and they may say, when did you work on that? When did you do that? Well, we know that it was all those hours maybe spent in the mornings getting grounded in truth, getting grounding in prayer, feeling and sensing in something that is beyond us, and a seeming miracle that has already taken place in the mind of God shows up. And people will say, she's wasting time. She's still meditating and she's affirming. She's still going to those classes and workshops, reading those spiritual books. She's all there saying she's connecting with the present. Doesn't she know it's 8 o'clock? She should be out there beating the bushes, making it happen. She's still in there praying. Doesn't she know that the early bird catches the worm? Well, we don't want a worm. We want the kingdom of the Spirit of the living God. We want to flow with the spiritual presence. That's what we want. So when we're affirming that life is good, when we're affirming that all our needs are met, when we're affirming that this body is a fit and vital instrument of pure spirit, when we're affirming everything is working together for our good, the entire universe is operating to fulfill itself through you and me. There is a moment that we feel that connection of our oneness with God, and we know that we are in the flow, and we're going for that space. That realization of our oneness with God, with the force, with the presence. That's what we want. Yes, we do our part. There is some things that we must do along the way, But we're just going along for the ride as we leave the unfoldment to God and allowing for this creative power of Spirit to take over our life when we're working from the flow. You know, Carl Jung, who's a psychiatrist, I think he's from Switzerland, and he's known for his theory of the collective unconscious. And he talks about a story called The Rainmaker. And in this story, for 5 consecutive years, the village had experienced a drought. There was no rain, there was no water, and the ground was breaking apart. Nothing could grow, and the people were starving. And their life essence was being diminished because there was no rain. And in this village, they called in many, many rainmakers, and all of them failed to bring the rain. And one day they heard about a special man who lived in a very distant village, and they asked him to come and bring rain, and he came. And he stood in the land, and he looked about, and he felt about the land, and he built this little tent. And he entered in the tent, and for 4 days he sat in the tent. And on the 5th day, it began to rain. It began to pour. And the ground was soaked with moisture, and it became fertile, it became plentiful again, and it began to bring forth the rain to come. Everyone else that we had brought in, they had failed. What is it that you did? And he said, I did nothing. I did nothing. When I came, I saw that the village was out of alignment, out of harmony with heaven, and I went to the tent and got in harmony with my divine being. And the 5th day, scan our life and see things that may be amiss, as we see things that are discordant, that are not quite to our liking. Let us not leap into busyness from the anxious space, trying to make it happen. That's laboring in vain. Ourselves with the isness of God, and then we will see magical or mysterious things take place. And we will be like the lilies of the field, spinning and toiling not. And that, my friends, Well, next week I'll be back with Are You Ready to Be Healed? On whatever level that we're all looking for healing on some level in our life. If not, please levitate from your seat, float to the front of the room, and tell you how you were able to get through life without having anything to transform. So anyway, next week I'll be back talking about Are You Ready to Be Healed? And if you want some prayer immediately after the service, understand our consciousness and upliftment as needed in our own life. And I always say you don't have to wait until you have a problem to pray. You can just pray because something joyous happened in your life, and you just want to amplify that field, because whatever we focus on, we get our online welcome card, and we'll let you know what's taking place at Spiritual Life Center. And also those who may be here for the very first time today, I just invite you to raise your hand. Any newcomers here today? I think we're all family here. We know each other. And as I say, as we continue to grow, if we're a little bit better today than we were yesterday, then we're new. So let's always stay new in our life experience. At this time, I invite those who are online who would like to support Spiritual Life Center with your gift or your offering. You can do so by simply texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab. And they'll give you other ways to give, including by mail. And we appreciate the support, because this provides a place for those who are looking to grow, develop, and unfold in their own life. For those who are here today, we just invite you to take your gift or your love offering and symbolically raise it to the heavens. Or if you've given already electronically or by mail, know that you're in that flow of spirit that says that whatever we give out, it does come back to us in ways that we never imagined. And so with that awareness, and with yourself just kind of dancing with the spirit in your own mind. You know, I used to go to when I went to Africa years ago, when we did the service, they didn't just collect the offering. everybody danced from the back of the room to the front and brought their offering up. Now, we're not going to ask you to do that here today. But we might try that sometime. You know, who knows? It'll break things up a little bit. But dance in your mind, because when we dance with that kind of energy, we begin to amplify the power of that giving, and that we attract more of that to bring it into our own life and to give even more. So with that dancing consciousness, let's affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
If I can help cheer somebody with a word or a song on, then my living shall not be in vain. Yeah, if I can do my duty as each pearl the world abroad, if I can spread my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. Pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. Shall not be in vain. I'm having my own party. And my living shall not be in vain. And my living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. It won't be in vain. Say it won't be in vain. Hey, I want to help somebody. Yeah. Woo. It won't be in vain. Won't be in vain. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol, helping us out with your presence. And Doug, thank you for coming and helping us out, filling in for Paula. She's on her mend. I understand you're moving on to another gig. But thank you while you were here. You have been a tremendous blessing to us. Well, we take this time to bless those who have blessed us with their gifts and offerings, knowing that it's an opportunity to support a place for folks looking to fulfill their spiritual potential to the best that they can and to work with like-minded individuals who want to make a positive difference in the world. Know that all givers on whatever level or whatever gift they give are blessed, because this is the nature of spirit that gives unconditionally with no expectation of return. But there is a return. We get closer to realization of the presence of God and what God is. We also bless those who have left their prayers in the prayer box today or throughout the week. For remember that all of us go through challenges from time to time, and there comes those moments we must lean on a presence that's greater than ourselves, that has the answer even before we know what the question is for us. We're reminded that the Spirit is telling us, before you call, I have already answered you. So the answer is already there, and so what we do is simply lift ourselves to be one with the answer and see the seeming miracles take place. It is already done on the spiritual plane, so we begin to see it and feel it within ourselves right where we are. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So with that, let's join together as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And that is the truth. Let's sing our peace song. Let there be peace on earth,
and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we.
Family all are we.
Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me.
Peace and blessings to you. Have a great day. And I think you had a little postlude music. All righty.